Yes, good afternoon. I'm going to discuss my research paper in mobile computing. So basically, the topic is the states of research in mobile payment. So this is the presentation outline. I'm going to start from introduction uh, to references. For the research paper, we're going to look at the background, the method, and classification, and of course, conclusion and findings. So for the introduction, uh, basically, like I explained, the research paper has to do with survey of mobile payment, and the research was, conducted between 2018 and 2023. uh, so basically, what we look at is to look at the survey of mobile payment. Different method of making mobile payment when it comes to transaction consummation. So from the research, I was able to come up with seven categories. Sorry, seven categories that has to do with mobile payment. From the point of SMS, NFC, QR code, mobile payment, cryptocurrency, banking apps, and mobile carrier, billing. So we can see from the first point, which has to do with the SMS and USSD. So basically, this is just like a text-based solutions that enables customers to carry out transaction with their mobile phone. You understand? It doesn't necessarily have to be digital phone. You can simply use the analog phone. The analog phone are just the button phones. So it allows you to consummate transaction. With the help of using short code. Like star 737 star 2 hash. It allows you to consider. And the typical example is we can see is the M-Pesa in Kenya. M-Pesa in Kenya, M-Pesa simply means, money in Swahili. Swahili is a language is one of the languages in Africa, I think in the South African part. So this M-Pesa is one of the biggest, in terms of the most popular, payments solution that uses the SMS and USSD, platform. And we also have the Gcash in Philippines. So these are SMS USSD solutions that enables you to use a short code. Using the number, the likes of the analog phone to be able to consummate your transaction. Then we see the NFC, the near field communication. A typical example is the Apple Pay and the Google Pay. So this enables you to also, consummate transaction simply by, taking your Apple Pay or Google Pay to scan the POS device, and it can allow you to complete the transaction. Of course, the QR code, the quick response code, so a typical example is the Alipay and the WeChat in China. It also allows you to be able to consummate transaction by just scanning, a barcode, that enables you to consummate transaction. At the later stage of the presentation, we're going to show some graphical illustration, of all these solutions. So it will enable us to understand, in summary, what we're trying to discuss here. The next on the list is the mobile wallet. So basically, the mobile wallets are probably they also allow you to consummate transaction. So they're like they enables you to save digital payment information on your mobile device. For example, is the paper. Sure, we all know how PayPal works. It enables you to actually save your debit card information, your card information, into paper, and you can use the paper to actually, consummate transactions. A typical example is also like the Cash App also. Then we also have the cryptocurrency. Example of the cryptocurrency is the Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have the banking apps. So the banking apps are banking solutions that enables the bank customers to be able to consummate transaction. The typical example is the Chase mobile app in the West Fargo. We also have the mobile carrier billing. This is a solutions developed by the MNOs. We call them the MNOs, the mobile network operators. That enables their customers to actually consummate transaction. A typical example is like the Vodafone wallet, and I said the AT&T payment. So, the mobile network operator, they develop a solution that enable customers to be able to consummate transaction, buy recharge card, buy top up, buy data, and also do some other, payment transaction on the platform. So, of course, classification of papers. So, I classify 53 papers, on IEEE platform, using open access, search methodology. The limitation of the paper, of course, If we look at payment, flow or payment, mobile payment transaction flow, last 10 years, we can say, mobile wallet was so popular, the likes of PayPal, if we look at 10 years ago. But right now, 10 years later now, we can see the likes of an NFC becoming so popular, the likes of QR code, the likes of cryptocurrency, So the limitation here is that technology will change with time. So we won't be surprised in the next 10 years, NFC and QR code, they might still be in existence. They will, of course, they will still be in existence, but they won't be popular because we'll be talking about the likes of using, AR, augmented reality, using, cryptocurrency, blockchain, to consummate a transaction. So that's the limitation of the paper. So with time, technology will change, and and definitely the trends of mobile, payment solution will also definitely change. So this is a typical, a graphical, illustration of a Cash App users. Like I explained earlier, Cash App is example of a mobile wallet. So we can see the trend, from 2016 to 2023. We can see the exponential growth in terms of, users. This is in millions. We can see the growth, when it comes to adoption of using uh, mobile wallet solution. So we can also see Apple Pay users. We can see the Apple Pay users. We can see the exponential growth also. Between 2002 and even 2023, we can see the growth, and we can also see the estimation. It's been estimated that by 2026, the the numbers of Apple Pay users is going to increase up to 67.5 million people. Understand? So we can see that the adoption, when it comes to adopting, NFC payment and the likes, we can see the exponential growth in the illustration. Then let's look at the background. So basically, the background talks about the classifications of the paper, how we classify them into different categories, which is about those seven categories I explained. So also we can see the next question talks about terms and definition. Then we can see the meaning of SMS, NFC. Like I said, I explained it like M-Pesa, which simply means my money Swahili. We can see up to, Google Pay. These are just a screen that explains terms and definition used in the paper. Now, this is what I was talking about from my first slide, the workflow, to see, how these solutions or these categories, how they are graphically represented. We can see from the SMS, like I said earlier, you can simply just use an analog phone, a button phone to operate SMS versus the mobile payment consummation or transaction. You can see with the short code, it passes information to the channel mobile uses the gateway, to the third party web-based application, up to the point whereby you can actually consummate your transaction. So, you can use it, in Africa, this is so popular in Africa, in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, in Kenya, they use a lot of this, solution a lot. In fact, this kind of solution is so common between the mobile network operator and the banks in Africa, whereby they partner together to come up with these solutions. It's really popular, and it's a typical example is the M-Pesa. M-Pesa is one of the biggest when it comes to SMS versus the mobile, solution in Africa. So we can see the next one is NFC mobile, workflow. Like I said, near field communication, the likes of the Apple Pay and the Google Pay. You take your Apple Pay and you put it on the card reader, then it enables you to complete the transaction. So the next is the QR code, quick response code. Scan the QR code or scan the barcode, enables customer to enter the amount and to consummate transaction. This is the workflow. So easy. Then we also have, lastly, we have the mobile payment ecosystem. We want to know how, there's no way we talk about payment, or there's no way we talk about survey of a mobile payment without talking about the ecosystem. So this is, whether we talk about NFC, QR code, SMS, mobile payment, mobile carrier billing, everything still fall under the mobile payment ecosystem. From the point of where the transaction is being initiated up to the point when the transaction is being consummated. We can see from the screen, this is the customers. A customer can use, whatever device. It could be a mobile device, it could be laptop, it could be anything. You understand? To actually carry out transactions. We can see the transaction flow from the customers. It goes into the online store. Your online store can be your Amazon store. For example, I want to buy something on Amazon. So I take in my tablet or I take in my phone, I logs into Amazon. I goes into the online store, which is Amazon. Then from there, I pick, let's say, for example, I want to buy, what do I want to buy? Let's say I want to buy, um, let me just say I want to buy a shoe from Amazon. I pick up the shoe that I want, and from there, it goes into the payment gateway. From the payment gateway, your payment gateway has to do with your payment scheme cards, like the likes of the Mastercard, the Visa card, American card, and the like. So once it does that, which is on the cloud, so from there it goes into your issuing bank. What is the issuing bank? For example, if I'm using a card from Independent Bank or I'm using a card from Chase Bank, so from my online store, it goes into my payment gateway. You understand? The payment gateway, check my card. From there, it goes into my bank. So what does it do in my bank? It confirm whether I have the, from here it confirm the necessary information. It also goes to the bank to confirm my card details and confirm my balance, whether I have enough money. If I don't have enough money in my bank, the transaction also goes back and send the response back to the online store Amazon. I send the response back to the customer that's insufficient fund. So that's the cycle. But if I have enough money, it comes here, it confirms, okay, there's enough fund. It goes back, and it comes back to the merchant and tell the company, oh, no worry, the guy has enough money. Then, give him the services or release the services of the goods. So this is typically the cycle. This is how it works. You understand? So we can see the transaction flow between customers, online store, payment gateway to confirm your card details and the likes. It goes to the injury bank to confirm your balance. Then it goes to the merchant. The merchant is the customer who get paid at the end of the day. For Mastercard, I think it's T+1. So the merchant get paid the next day, you understand, once the transaction is consummated. So that's the simple mobile payment ecosystem. So for method and classification, we can see, like I said earlier, uh, the paper were actually, gotten from IEEE, from, finding the research topic, searching for the paper online, refining the paper, and at the end of the day, sorting out the paper and putting them into literature grade. Then this is the system model. So basically, it talks about the category of the papers, and how many papers, are included in the 53 papers, that are being discussed. We can say SMS is about 15, QR code is about 14. Then this screen tells us about the description of results of the paper. So, for example, now for mobile wallet, we can see this paper, the efficiency of mobile e-wallet in Palestine. So this paper really discussed about mobile wallet domain. You understand? We can see the QR code. We can see secure QR code scanner according to a novel malicious URL detection framework. It just talks about about the QR code. Then we can see the last, the last one, which has to talk about the application of extended technology acceptance model. It talks about NFC and QR code. So the next slide, which is the last slide, talks about the finding and conclusion. So basically, the first point here tells us about that SMS and USSD services continued enabling financial inclusion. What this simply means is that, yes, we might say probably there's a security limitation when it comes to SMS and USSD because it uses a short code. But however, like I said, it's still very, very relevant when it comes to mobile payment ecosystem. You understand? Like I told you, in Africa, this payment solution is so popular. You understand? Like I said, the M-Pesa ride on this solution. You have solutions in Nigeria, like I said, you have solutions in Sierra Leone, in Ghana, in Cameroon, in Guinea. you know, most cases you see banks partner with mobile, network operators, the telcos, and to come up with a SMS driven solution. So this is really popular. So it will still be relevant. It will still be part of the financial inclusion. Then the second point, fragmentation of platform and lack of interoperability standard inhibit large scale uptake of mobile payment at risk, including digital. Yes. So what this one is basically saying is that one of the disadvantage, of this, of when it comes to mobile, this is a disadvantage, or when it comes to mobile payment inclusion is, for example, it talks about fragmentation. For example, if I have Cash App in the United States, If I'm leaving the United States, I'm going to another country. Let's say I'm going to Poland or I'm going to Germany. I won't be able to use Cash App there. So what it means is that I'm going to end up downloading the solution that is in the country. So this is what we call, it's like more of like a disadvantage. It's more of like risks excluding digital disadvantage group. You understand? It means that, let's say for example now, I won't be able to use my Cash App again. I was using my Cash App very well in the United States. Immediately I step out of the United States and I go to another country, I can't use my Cash App. You understand? So it's a disadvantage. I will end up downloading. So it's on a large scale. You understand? So it means that for every country that I go, I have to download their payment or their mobile payment solutions, which is a disadvantage, you know. And number three has to do with realizing the full potential of mobile payments. Equitability requires persistent multi-stakeholder effort of governance. So basically, what this point is saying is, for example, is that there has to be a governance in place. There has to be some kind of a policy, government-driven policy, institutional, whereby, there has to be some policy when it comes to, deploying maybe a premier solution. That has to be governed, to avoid, unethical behavior or for security measures. So it's like a check, like just like if you go to every country before a solution is being deployed, they have the regulatory body that makes sure that whatever is being released to customers, has been tested, just so to protect the users and customers, as the case may be. Then the fourth one has to do with the hybrid mobile wallet integrating multi-factor biometric. This is a positive one. There's a lot of promising there's a lot of promising direction when it comes to payment. Nowadays when it comes to mobile wallet, like I explained, likes of PayPal. So they enables multi-factor biometric. Now people can actually use their thumbprint, can use their face, like likes of the NFC with the Apple Pay and Google Pay, and blockchain enables you to be able to, to authenticate, to do further authentication when it comes to transaction consummation, which is a good one. So, like I said, it's a promising direction, when it comes to, transaction consummation. Then lastly, qualitative benefit like speed data driven service must be weighed against emerging risk related to privacy. So basically what this is saying is talking about data privacy. That in as much as we are coming up with a good solution, payment, mobile payment solution, uh, people privacy or what data privacy has to be really taken serious. You understand? We need to take data privacy with all seriousness. A lot of people don't want their data to be in the public. So data privacy is something that is so important when it comes to mobile payment, mobile payment, consummation or transaction, as the case may be. So these are the five findings in the papers. So lastly is on the conclusion, which is similarly to the findings. We talk about the fragmentation, we talk about the inclusive. What this simply means, like I explained earlier, the government was involved, regulatory body was involved to be able to regulate whatever mobile solution that is being developed, and inclusive technology standards. So this simply means that whatever solution or whatever mobile payment solution is being developed, women, elderly people must be inclusive. Even people from the rural area, just like in Africa. So that's what they do. They make sure that there's what we call financial inclusion. You understand? Everybody is actually included in the solution. Whether you stay in a rural area, you're in the urban area. So this is the inclusive technology standards that have been mentioned here. Local participation models and ethical guidelines. Like I said earlier. Then hybrid mobile wallets. We talk about this, which is a positive one, which is taking mobile payment, ecosystem into a promising direction, whereby now people can actually, apart from password, people can actually do multi-factor authentication using biometric, and the likes of NFC. So basically, this is just the presentation on the paper, and thank you for listening.